In recent years, the number of civilian reports involving UFO sightings has surged dramatically. These words often lead breaking news segments, making their way into millions of living rooms across the United States and beyond. Videos of strange lights darting across the skies, radar footage released by military personnel, and sensational congressional hearings about unidentified aerial phenomena dominate headlines. The public's fascination with the possibility of extraterrestrial life is palpable, and yet, behind the awe and excitement lies an undercurrent of suspicion. What if these sightings, these revelations, are part of something much bigger? Something calculated, orchestrated, and deeply sinister? This brings us to one of the most provocative and controversial conspiracy theories of our time, Project Blue Beam. A theory so grand in scope that, if true, it would represent the largest manipulation in human history. Tonight, we're not here to confirm or debunk, but to explore every angle. From its origins in the 1990s to how it might hypothetically unfold in the near future, we'll take you on a journey through the mind of this theory's creator and beyond. So, settle in, and let's imagine a world where reality itself becomes the stage for a cosmic illusion. The origins of Project Blue Beam. To fully grasp the intrigue of Project Blue Beam, we must first travel back to the early 1990s, when the theory was first introduced by Serge Monast, a journalist and conspiracy theorist from Quebec, Canada. Monast was no stranger to controversial claims, but Blue Beam was unlike anything the world had heard before. According to Monast, this secret operation was allegedly being orchestrated by NASA and powerful global elites. Its purpose? To pave the way for a new world order, a centralized, authoritarian government that would span the entire globe. But how could such a monumental shift in power be achieved? Monast's theory proposed that the key lay in manipulating humanity's deepest beliefs, fears, and hopes. He described a chilling four-phase plan designed to dismantle existing religions, sow chaos, and ultimately unite the world under one fabricated, universal faith. This faith would be engineered by none other than the conspirators themselves, enabling them to control the masses. But how? Through advanced holographic technology, psychological manipulation, and a narrative so compelling it would be almost impossible to resist. Let's pause for a moment to consider this. Is such a grand illusion even feasible? Phase 1. Unveiling ancient mysteries. The first phase, Monast claimed, would involve a calculated shift in archaeological discoveries. Supposedly, new evidence would surface, artifacts or texts, suggesting that humanity's long-held religious beliefs were misinterpreted or outright false. This would be amplified by mass media, sparking a global crisis of faith. Imagine the implications. What if tomorrow, scientists announced they had uncovered undeniable proof that the origins of all major religions were linked to extraterrestrial influences? Or worse, that these religions were deliberate constructs of ancient rulers to control their populations? Based on real-world trends, skeptics might say, this part of the theory doesn't seem entirely far-fetched. After all, stories of ancient aliens and suppressed historical knowledge have captured public imagination for decades. Shows like Ancient Aliens on the History Channel have already planted the seeds of curiosity and doubt in millions of minds. But could such discoveries be fabricated on a global scale? Would people accept them as truth, or would they dig deeper, suspecting an elaborate deception? Phase 2. The Great Illusion. This is where the theory takes a dramatic leap. Monast described a technological marvel. Holographic projections so advanced they could create vivid, lifelike images in the sky, visible to entire populations at once. And what would these projections show? According to the theory, the images would vary depending on the region. In predominantly Christian countries, the skies might fill with the figure of Jesus Christ, descending from the heavens. In the Middle East, perhaps a projection of the Prophet Muhammad would appear. In South Asia, visions of Hindu deities could manifest. The purpose of these holograms, Monast argued, would be to trigger a spiritual awakening, but not the kind you'd expect. The figures would begin to merge into one universal being, announcing the arrival of a new, singular deity. This deity would proclaim itself as the savior of humanity, urging all nations to unite under its guidance. Let's imagine this for a moment. A world divided by religion, suddenly unified by a shared, miraculous event. For many, it might feel like the ultimate revelation. For others, it could provoke panic, distrust, or rebellion. And yet, skeptics argue, the logistics of such a spectacle are staggering. Could technology even today produce holograms on this scale? Some point to events like the 2012 Coachella performance, where a holographic Tupac Shakur appeared on stage, as evidence of how far the technology has come. But projecting images into the open sky, visible across continents? That remains firmly in the realm of speculation. Phase 3, the telepathic connection. The next stage of Project Blue Beam introduces an even more chilling concept: direct communication with the human mind. Monast claimed that this phase would involve the use of low-frequency electromagnetic waves, transmitted to individuals globally. These waves, he said, would implant thoughts, voices, or even entire experiences directly into people's minds. The supposed goal? To make individuals believe they were hearing the voice of this new deity, or worse, that their own thoughts were aligning with its commands. This telepathic connection would bypass skepticism, creating a personal and intimate bond with the fabricated savior. Let's imagine, Monast suggested, the impact of a voice in your head, perfectly aligned with your language, your culture, and your deepest personal beliefs. This voice might promise salvation, offer solutions to global crises, or even deliver warnings about those who resist the new order. The technology to achieve this, often referred to as voice-to-skull or V2K, is a real area of research in the field of neuroscience and military experimentation. Some studies have explored using electromagnetic waves to create auditory sensations, though these experiments are far from the mind control capabilities Monast described. Critics argue that this phase is where the theory begins to strain credibility. Even if such technology exists, they say, the sheer complexity of targeting billions of minds simultaneously is nearly impossible to fathom. Still, the idea resonates with those who fear the misuse of advancing technology. Phase 4, the apocalypse simulation. If the previous phases weren't dramatic enough, the final step of Project Blue Beam plunges the world into chaos. This stage, Monast theorized, would involve a staged extraterrestrial invasion or a global catastrophe. Advanced technology, possibly unmanned drones or covert military aircraft, would create the illusion of alien ships attacking major cities or abducting populations. The goal of this simulated apocalypse? To frighten the masses into submission. Governments would declare martial law, and people would be more willing to surrender freedoms in exchange for safety and order. The illusion of an alien threat, combined with the unifying narrative of the new deity, would solidify control over humanity. A staged apocalypse, Monast warned, would serve as the ultimate psychological weapon. It would not only dismantle resistance but also provide the perfect cover for eliminating dissenters, restructuring global economies, and erasing individual sovereignty. Real-world examples fuel the plausibility of this phase. The U.S. military's experimental aircraft, such as the stealthy State Route 71 Blackbird and rumored projects like the TR-3B, have long been mistaken for UFOs. Furthermore, documents like the declassified Project Mogul reveal how governments have historically tested the public's reaction to unexplainable phenomena. Could these be precursors to a more elaborate deception? Why does this theory persist? Decades after its inception, Project Blue Beam remains a hot topic in conspiracy circles. Some believers point to modern developments, drones, holograms, and artificial intelligence, as evidence that Monast was ahead of his time. Others view the theory as a cautionary tale about the dangers of blind trust in technology and authority. On the other hand, skeptics highlight inconsistencies and logical gaps. If such a plan were in motion, they ask, why would it be leaked so early? And why has there been no concrete evidence to support it? These questions cast doubt on the feasibility of the theory but do little to diminish its cultural impact. As we stand on the brink of 2025, the world is facing rapid technological advancements, geopolitical tensions, and the increasing centralization of power. The ideas put forth in Project Blue Beam seem less like the far-fetched fantasies of a conspiracy theorist and more like warnings from the past about what could unfold in the future. With technologies like holograms, AI, and deepfake capabilities advancing at an unprecedented rate, the possibility that something like Blue Beam could become a reality is no longer something we can dismiss outright. The line between reality and illusion is becoming ever more blurred, and what we're told to believe may be far from the truth. Could the powers that be use these tools to manipulate humanity, creating false narratives of alien invasions or divine interventions? Could they exploit our fears and desires to usher in a new global order? And what role will we, the average citizen, play in all of this? These questions are more than just the stuff of conspiracy, they reflect our very real anxieties about the direction in which our world is heading. But the most chilling aspect of Project Blue Beam isn't just the technology it predicts. It's the way it exposes our vulnerability to manipulation. How, in the face of chaos and confusion, we might willingly embrace a false reality, surrendering our freedoms for the promise of safety, stability, and even salvation. So, what does this mean for us? As you think about the possibilities and the terrifying implications of what we've just discussed, consider how much of what we see and hear in our daily lives is curated. Could we be unknowingly preparing ourselves for a world where reality is not what we perceive it to be, but something crafted for us? It's easy to dismiss Project Blue Beam as just another wild theory, but what if there's more truth to it than we think? After all, the most dangerous lies are often the ones that are disguised as truth. The very technology that could bring us closer together could also be used to deceive us on a global scale. It's a sobering thought. Now it's your turn to join the conversation. What do you think about the possibility of Project Blue Beam becoming a reality? Do you believe that the governments of the world could orchestrate such a grand deception? Or do you think it's all just the stuff of fiction? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. This topic is far from over and your perspective is important. Let's keep this conversation going. If you want to dive deeper into more mysteries, theories, and hidden truths, be sure to hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss the next late-night dive into the unknown. Together, we'll continue to search for the truth, wherever it may lead us. Stay curious, stay vigilant, and remember, what you're told may not always be what's true. Subscribe now so you don't miss out on future explorations.